All right, you may or may not know there's this very famous movie. It is called The Big Lebowski, and it's about this guy, and his name is the Dude, and he has a quote in the movie, and it's called "The Dude Abides," and it's kind of saying just don't take life too seriously, take it light, don't make too much energy, too many conflicts, just abide, just do whatever, and he abides. And that kind of sentiment in the movie became so popular, it like formed its own religion. So I thought we could investigate it further.
His wife goes out and owes money all over town and they pee on my rug?
The movie is
20
sick,
years
by the way.
since its release, The Big Lebowski has shaped pop culture in a way no one could have predicted.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
It's
Famous
inspired
quote.
theme parties, fan clubs, cosplay, a signature drink, an annual festival, a religion based on the Dude's philosophy, and the Day of the Dude, celebrated every March 6th, the day the film came out.
Damn, we just
By
missed
now,
it.
The Big Lebowski is more than a movie. It's a lifestyle.
Far out.
So why exactly did the Dudeist lifestyle become so instantly and enduringly iconic? Before we go on, be sure to hit subscribe and click the bell to get notifications on all of our new videos.
I'm the dude. So that's what you call me, you know? That or his dudeness or duder.
This the shit I like.
You know, El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
What's so appealing about The Big Lebowski is what Roger Ebert describes as the film's attitude. And of course, the film's attitude is a reflection of the Dude's attitude.
Take it easy.
Yeah, the overall story, it's kind of like this mystery story, like, oh, why are these people looking for the crime, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of like a relatively tame story, but yeah, like they're saying, it's his attitude and the character. Really, the story is about the character.
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
I know that you will.
The Dude is embodied in the opening image, that tumbleweed rolling along, carried by the wind across LA. This is someone who goes with the flow. But like the tumbleweed, the Dude is pulled by a tumultuous world into over-the-top adventures. So the
the dream.
suggestion is that if we stop pushing and forcing movement in our lives and instead let ourselves be moved by the flow of things, we might actually experience more. Of course, the Dude doesn't want big, crazy experiences. All he wants is peace and stability. And throughout the film, as he gets more and more mixed up with these crazy plots, the Dude is fighting to maintain his relaxed composure.
Earlier today, I was really feeling shitty, man. Really down in the dumps. Can't be worried about that shit. Life goes on, man.
His true goal is less to
goes
solve
on,
the
man.
kidnapping mystery than to keep his cool and not let all of this get to him. Thus, the spiritual question of the movie is, how does the Dude keep being the Dude when so much drama around him is threatening to destroy his inner tranquility? One of the movie's most famous lines
The dude abides.
is an homage to The Night of the Hunter.
Lord, save little children. The wind blows and the rains are cold, yet they abide.
With that mysterious
I have never heard that. The Night of the Hunter.
Night of the Hunter,
Lord, save little children. The wind blows and the rains are cold, yet they abide.
The wind blows, yet the rains are cold, yet they abide. I feel like that was a weird way to say
that
it.
mysterious phrase.
The dude abides.
This
The
makes much more
Coens are
sense to me.
imbuing him with the sacred spirit of the child who
I don't
perseveres
get it. Yeah, me
in
neither,
spite
to
of
be
whatever
honest.
comes. And then the Dude is compared to Christ.
It's good knowing he's out there, the dude, taking her easy for all us sinners.
So the righteous thing the Dude is doing is taking it easy. And our sin that he's redeeming is the way we constantly do everything but take it easy.
Just take it easy, man.
You know, that's your answer for everything, dude.
Taking it easy in a world that's constantly trying to ruffle you is a significant and paradoxically difficult thing to do. The Dude represents a passive life, disengaged from chaos. He's not married with a family and doesn't seem to seek a partner.
Do you see a wedding ring on my finger? Does this place look like I'm f***ing married?
He doesn't work or seek a job.
My papers, business papers.
And what do you do, sir?
I'm unemployed.
He's not fixated on proving any macho, aggressive standard of masculinity.
They're calling the cops, man. Put the piece away.
His world thinks that all of these things
Banging
make him a
scenes. This is
loser.
reminding me of
Looks
a
like
fun
a
scenes.
loser.
Hey, at least I'm housebroken.
So if you haven't seen the movie, what happens is it's kind of like a mistaken identity thing where they want his money, and then he realizes he like follows the pipeline, and then kind of like the mystery unravels, I guess.
Hey, at least I'm housebroken.
But the dude's detachment from the crazy
Over the
wound-up
line.
world and its whirlwind of toxic emotions feels spiritual, reminiscent of Buddhist or Taoist philosophy. The dude doesn't seek excitement or greatness, just balance and equanimity.
How things been going?
Oh, you know, strikes and gutters, ups and downs.
At the beginning of the film, we're told,
Sometimes there's a man.
Milk. He's in the
He's
milk
the
aisle.
man for his time and place. He fits right in there. And that's the dude.
he embodies that slacker type that came into being in the 90s. Of course, the dude is also an aging hippie from the 60s.
You know, I spent most of my time occupying various administration buildings, smoking a lot of Thai steaks, breaking into the ROTC, you know, bowling.
And perhaps the slacker is the 90s answer to the question, what happened to those idealistic dreamers of the 60s if they didn't go on to just get a job and get with the program over time?
My advice to you is to do what your parents did. Get a job, sir.
But as we watch the film, the initial statement
He's the man for his time and place.
starts to sound curious because the dude doesn't really seem to fit in with his time and place at all. And ultimately, he's more the
It's two Mr. Lebowskis. One is the try hardest, you're responsible for everything, cause and effect. Then Mr. Lebowski doesn't try, whatever comes is all random, doesn't believe in anything. Don't fight to believe.
inverse of the
Or
man
not
of the
believe.
times we might imagine from the 90s. He's a pacifist at the time of the Gulf War.
These guys, you know, they're like me, they're pacifists.
He's completely unambitious, anti-achievement at the start of a decade that was about to see a huge commercial boom. The narration says he's the man for his time, because maybe his time needed more people like him to think differently from the norm of the era. There's also something timeless and mythical about the dude's story, as if this spiritual tumbleweed is an essential antidote to mankind's crazed forward motion in any era. And at the end, we hear,
I happen to know that there's a little Lebowski on the way.
I hope
so
they
we
talk
can
about the
take
religion.
comfort that there will be more dudes in the future, needed in times to come.
That's what I want to know about.
Moments from this film are so iconic because they're specific, original, neatly presented, and made of surprising, incongruous combinations. Thus, they stick in our minds. Like when we first meet the dude and he's paying for a 69-cent carton of milk with a check. Or the dude's white Russian milk mustaches, and the choice of drink itself. The constant drinking here is a play on the whiskey-drinking noir hero.
I had a bottle of pretty good rye in my pocket. I'd a lot rather get wet in here.
But the specific choice of the White Russian is a decidedly unmasculine yet delicious drink that really embodies the dude himself. There's the repetition of Bob Dylan's The Man in Me, the dude's song, and how it's paired with flying dreams and a POV shot of a bowling ball. So this unexpected combination embodies the dude's holy place of sorts, the way he tries to transcend. There's Bunny's car driven straight into the fountain with its license plate that says Lapin, French for rabbit. And of course, her green nail polish. We're introduced to Bunny painting her toenails. Then we see that green polish on that bloody, amputated toe. And what was an idiosyncratic detail becomes brilliantly efficient storytelling. We immediately summon that first image of Bunny and understand the meaning of this toe instantly. Then we get the incredibly memorable shot revealing Bunny's 10 intact toes, a huge turning point in the story communicated through this simple efficiency. And later we get our explanation when we see the nihilist's
This video is not
bandage
as good as the movie. Yeah, I feel like what's the contention here? They're kind of just like jumping around. They're just glazing and jumping around. We could have had a bit more
in
structure.
the toe. The specific, efficient storytelling through these 4 instances of toes adds such character that even decades after seeing the movie, we still remember that green nail polish. And that bloody toe with its perfect green polish embodies how the film understands that incongruous combinations are memorable. The character
This is film
embodies
school.
how the film understands that incongruous combinations are memorable.
This is what happens when you go to film school. This is how people talk. Incongruous combinations are memorable. No, be quiet. We show toe off, telling story. Doesn't need to be this complicated. Come on. This really reminds me of film school. They would say crazy shit like this all the time. It's like, yes, you're telling the story.
Polish embodies how the film understands that incongruous combinations are memorable. The characters, likewise, are contradictory mixes of qualities we don't generally associate with each other. An angry Vietnam veteran who's very vocal about his conversion to Judaism.
I don't roll on Shabbos.
A moody femme fatale who's also a feminist artist, partially based on Yoko Ono and artist Carolee Schneemann.
My art has been commended as being strongly vaginal, which bothers some men. The word itself makes some men uncomfortable. Vagina.
Even the dude is incongruous. He seems like the most relaxed guy ever.
Quite possibly the laziest in Los Angeles County.
But he gets bent out of shape when his life is disrupted in a relatively insignificant way.
Yeah, man, it really tied the room together.
And he just won't.
That's also a funny thing of the movie is he says, he peed on my rug, man. I just want money for the new rug. And then they say, why? And he goes, because it really tied the room together. They repeat it throughout the film like 5 or 6 times. They say, it really tied the room together. And like the other guy will say, it did really tie the room together.
Let it go.
It's funny. It's funny how they like latch onto like one thing like that.
Tied the room together.
The dude's caring too much about small things gets him into this whole mess.
I could be sitting here with just pee stains on my rug.
Yeah.
But no, man, I gotta,
Germans.
But his taking it easy lifestyle isn't the same as not caring about anything.
Willie doesn't care about anything. He's a nihilist.
Oh, that must be exhausting.
His hard-won peace comes from focusing on things he can control. He depends on his routine, wearing sunglasses inside, bowling, drinking White Russians, taking a bath, smoking a joint, and listening to Bob. His sacred place is the bowling alley where everything is the same from game to game.
Smokey, this is not Nam. This is bowling. There are rules.
The loving, slow-motion shots of the bowling emphasize the reverence these characters have for their game. It's their temple. This is their meditation.
the tournament. You, Walter.
The tournament? Okay, dude, I can see you don't want to be cheered up here.
So repetitions within the film add to the memorability, humor, and storytelling efficiency, but they also thematically illustrate how the characters derive happiness from repetition in their lives. And the film reveals to us that one way of building a happy lifestyle is committing to our own repetitions, filling our days with what gives us joy, finding our own favorite activity and drink, and enjoying them as ritual. And of course, if we don't want the trouble of finding our own routine, the Dudes is a pretty easy one to emulate. So that's another reason it's become a lifestyle. In 1998, the Big
Tell me about the
Lebowski
religion.
helped create a whole new subgenre, one which Slate has dubbed the slacker noir. This subgenre is the marriage of film noir and stoner comedy, so you could also call it stoner noir. It's got many traditional film noir elements, a dark, cynical outlook, the femme fatale.
Blow on them.
You just put your lips together and blow.
Smoking, here it's joints instead of cigarettes, and a deadpan protagonist who gets horrendously beaten up and abused over the course of the story. The Big Lebowski is partly based on Raymond Chandler's The Big Sleep, and the film stays true to the episodic nature of Chandler-esque magazine Pulp Fiction. It feels like it's made up of isolated sequences that don't have that much to do with each other, and it values the individual scene over the plot. Joel Cohen has said that, like Chandler's work, The Big Lebowski has, quote, a hopelessly complex plot that's ultimately unimportant. We also associate noir with its stylized, distinctive patterns of speech.
You know, you're the second guy I've met today that seems to think a gap in a hand means the world with a tail.
Lebowski likewise creates its own style of dialogue so memorable that it's one of the most quotable films of the last 2 decades. For instance,
Oh, nice marmot.
Nobody f***s with the Jesus.
Obviously, you're not a golfer.
Shut the up, Donnie.
The parlance of our time.
In the parlance of our time,
Mr. Treehorn treats objects like women, man.
I will not abide another toe.
but as Slate pointed out, there's a notable difference between film noir and the slacker noir. Here, the protagonist is not a PI trying to solve the mystery. He's a hapless slacker who's attempting to separate himself from the mystery. The dude's only objective is to get reparations for his rug, but this simple goal sucks him deeper and deeper into a mess that he can only exit by solving the mystery.
This is a very complicated case, Maud. You know, a lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous.
And the comedy comes from watching the dude bumble through this case and try to figure it out through unconventional means.
Is this your homework, Larry?
So Lebowski's new genre embodied what the Dudeist lifestyle represents to people, a certain cool vibe.
Yeah, it is kind of like Pineapple Express. The movie is a theatrical play, and every character is somewhere in that range, but two Lebowskis are the furthest extremes each way. The nihilist and his best friend, the artist, are in between. Donnie is removed, and like a normal person, the blank sheet of paper contrasts to everyone. We never actually know where he is on the spectrum, because he never says or is allowed to say. Yeah, I mean, the characters are, that's what we're kind of saying, is like, the movie is just this big runaround of like this kind of plot, but it's more just to showcase how the characters interact,
of much of life, combined with an embrace of the laid-back stoner attitude and a serene approach to life. The dude might be a god on Earth, or he might be a loser. This is really in the eye of the beholder. His world certainly views the dude as a bum. Both Jeffrey Lebowski and his daughter use the dude because they see him as worthless, not a threat, as nothing.
You figured, oh, here's a loser, you know, a deadbeat, somebody the square community won't
That's
give a shit
gonna be me
about.
in 10 years? What, Lebowski? Come on, I got more ambitions than him, I think.
Well, aren't ya?
The Big Lebowski of the title isn't the dude.
He's abiding.
It's the other Lebowski. The dude constantly reminds people he's not Lebowski.
Nobody calls me Lebowski. You got the wrong guy. I'm the dude, man. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude.
Mr. Lebowski.
Dude.
He doesn't want to be a big Lebowski, a big rich man making a big name for himself. The dude rejects the Big Lebowski's image of success. He rejects that keyword, achieving.
They're the little Lebowski urban achievers.
The central divide in the film is really between these two men with the same given name.
The bums will always lose. Do you hear me, Lebowski?
And while the Big Lebowski seems to have everything
Ricky
at the
is
start,
way more stately and hardworking in
fraud.
purpose.
$1 million from
Yeah, I don't think I'd like him.
You
I
are
think
scum, man.
And we
I
end
think
up
I'm way more
feeling it's the
uptight.
dude who's really rich in his life. The embrace of the dude's abiding lifestyle over the years has shown that people want to challenge our society's assumptions, that achievement, machismo, and a big name are the measures of a man. There might be some value in cutting back, leading a simpler, humbler, more spiritual existence. And maybe the world would be a better place if we were all a little more relaxed like the dude, instead of trying so hard to be Big Lebowskis.
What do you do for recreation?
Oh, the usual. Bowl, drive around, the occasional acid flashback.
It's Deborah.
And Susanna, and you're watching Screen Prism.
Thanks, guys, so much for watching.
We post videos every Saturday and Sunday and during the week, so hit that subscribe button and you'll get access to all of our videos.
Thank you for the nice video, Screen Prism. Let's see if we can find one about the religion. But that was, I feel like they could have structured the video a little bit differently. But that was overall good. Good exploration of the film. I kind of wanted to talk about the religion there. I thought from the title, it seemed more like it would be about the religion.
You know, many of the world's great religions began when average men had extraordinary visions. Well, the Church of the Latter-day Dude began when a guy named Oliver got drunk at a cafe in Thailand with some buddies and had a vision of a movie called The Big Lebowski. In that cult classic, he found an unlikely savior in Jeff Bridges' character, the Dude.
They clickbaited with that title.
And he found
Yeah,
a philosophy that now has, get this, hundreds of thousands of followers, including a few we met on my afternoon with the Doodly Llama.
If your parents raised you right, then you have a healthy suspicion of guys who wear bathrobes in public.
Have you heard of Dudeism? Dudeism is a communicable form of ease. Our ethos is basically...
I feel like this is so old.
To just take it easy.
What year do you think this is
Especially
uploaded?
the
12
ones
years
who
ago. Yeah,
start
I knew
their
it.
own religions.
How
But
could
what
I
if
feel
this
that?
guy actually stumbled into a better way of living? What if the robe is a real key to inner peace? Who would possibly believe him? Well, for starters, anyone who loved The Big Lebowski.
You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude.
The 1998 film stars Jeff Bridges as the Dude. an easygoing Los Angelino with a fondness for weed and white Russians.
Hey, Marty.
He enjoys soaking to the recorded sounds of whale calls. And on league night, rolling a few frames with his unhinged buddies. But after confused thugs flush his head and pee on his rug,
Not on the rug.
the dude is swept into a gauntlet of mistaken identity persecution, and yet keeps his zen aura.
Careful, man. There's a beverage here, eh?
The Coen brothers have made
Like in that scene, he's getting abducted. He's getting abducted, and this guy, come with me. And he just holds the thing. Careful, man, there's a beverage here.
Identity persecution, and yet keeps his zen aura.
Careful, man. There's a beverage here, eh?
The Coen brothers have made better films, and
honestly,
Bridges
the
has done
news
more
is doing a
important
better
work,
video
but
essay.
For some reason, this one still resonates.
What do you get yelled at the most by people on the street?
Dude!
Why is it you think out of the 60, however many films you've done, that one resonates the way it does?
It's such a good movie.
There are a number of Lebowski fests around the world where...
Damn. Poor interviewer. Like, yeah, I guess he didn't answer that well. Why do you think it resonates? 'Cause it's good.
Fans bowl and drink and quote their favorite lines.
Over the line!
But when a travel writer named Oliver Benjamin saw the film on a drunken afternoon in Thailand, he saw more than a cult comedy. He saw a religion, with the dude as a transcendent model for modern living.
We suddenly realized that it didn't really matter if you weren't a success. It didn't really matter if you weren't what society approves of. What really matters is your own attitude towards life, and you could totally...
This is the guy that founded it? That's actually crazy. It's crazy to think you could watch a movie and then decide to start a religion.
Control how
because
you felt
watched
about
a
your
movie.
life by not playing into the hands of the dictates of society.
On a lark, he anointed himself the Doodly Llama and registered the website Dudeism.com. And today, there are over 160,000 Dudist priests.
There's probably way more
But then again,
now.
it's super
This is
easy
12
to
years ago.
join.
I state your name, vow.
As an ordained Dudist priest, I, Ben, avow
to take it easy, man.
I spent a few hours with Oliver and Dwayne, his arch-dudeship in the Church of the Latter-day Dude, and I saw firsthand why it is the world's slowest growing religion.
Would the dude proselytize? Should you be yelling your message a little louder here?
You know, the thing is, I gotta be honest with you, Bill, there's something implicitly undude about yelling stuff to people.
We did a little duditation.
Think of your mind as like a radio, and instead of trying to find the channels, you're trying to find the static.
But after
Let me think about it. Think of your mind as a radio, and instead of trying to find the channels, you're trying to find the stat. Not a bad quote. Not too bad. I can understand what he's saying. He's trying to find the peace. He's trying to find the noise.
Hiring to the Little Lebowski bookshop and downing a little borrowed dudeware of my own, somewhere after partaking of the White Russian and watching him lead the sermon by the counter.
That's one of the main messages of Dudeism and the Big Lebowski is just take it easy, man.
I realized he is dead serious.
It's basically modern Taoism. It's this idea that there is a harmonious way to live your life. There is a good way to live, you know, a life-affirming way to live.
What happens to dudists after they die? Don't you want to create like a golden bowling alley where the White Russians flow?
No, because then people won't be living their lives in the here and now. That's the whole point of Dudeism, is to be alive while you're alive.
Agree with that.
And to be as alive as possible.
The arch-dudeship tells me that ethos kept him calm through the fury of Hurricane Irene. And when Oliver's mom died recently and the stress was making him very undude, it was his community of fellow dudists that pulled him through, just like a real church.
How many people are in an ordinary church? 100, 200? How many people are in a bowling league? 100, 200? We are designed to be in tribes of people of 100 to 200 people and to look out for each other. To always check in to see what condition my condition is in.
To always check in to see what...
And so the next time you're stressed out in some cubicle, know that somewhere there is a man in a robe hoping you'll take the rest of the day off.
So help me, dude.
For religious purposes.
All right, man. Thanks, you guys.
Is this what the news used to be like? That was a sick video. 12 years ago. This is what used to be on the news. Sick, positive video essay. Bro, what the fuck happened? You'll never see a piece like this on the news now. It's insane now. Like, that was actually solid. I would watch that. If a channel was consistently putting out things like that, I would watch it every day. Like, actually what happened? That was sick. That was such a good video. Like, nice little piece of journalism from that guy. Like, he actually met up with the founder. Like, hell yeah. That was actually sick. That actually bums me the fuck out. 18 million subs. ABC News. Damn! Man, that was a good video. That was a great news report. That was everything that I wanted out of the first video in this one. Damn, man. That's kind of bummed me out. That's very undude of the news to switch up so hard. I watch CBS News on YouTube all the time. They have amazing exposés where they go undercover. A quarter of the time. Yeah, exactly. People found power through division. News changed forever. Yeah, that's so sad. Can't we just tell about the interesting religion sparked from a movie? Isn't that enough? Isn't that interesting enough? Damn. What a bummer. The news realize they get more views and clicks off making everyone hate each other, so that's why they're not showing this stuff anymore. That's true. I mean, that's 100% true. I agree. I think that's what happened too. Shame. R.I.P. I guess.